Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second edition of the League Racing Nations Championship. It has been almost a year since the previous event, but we are back on the F1 2020 game. This is Group B. I'm your lone commentator tonight. My name is Daniel Field, and the name I go by in game is V8 Field. You might have seen me in leagues such as League of Europe alongside James Head in Division 1. So hopefully we're going to have a good one today. Of course, Group B, as I said previously, we've got 4 countries represented by the drivers. We've got the Netherlands team taking its claim with Verstappen as our lobby host today, Matthias, Zuidema and XL Dylan. All these guys are part of different organisations aside for Dylan and Zuidema. But then we've also got Spain represented by simply J Magic. I'll call this one Kodo because I think it's kind of long to say his entire name, and Charlie. Then we got some outsiders from Malta. Some names I've not actually seen before in League Racing. We've got XL Bray, V Jaku 53, Ryan Malta, and Simi. And then the final team tonight is France. We've got Maxro 28 and Axel BGN 30, then Plix and Chrysor Alex. 16 drivers representing 4 teams today in Group B. So we've headed to 2 tracks today. We are on our way to Belgium first. We've got a one-shot qualifying around the circuit, and then I would expect a 25% race. I don't think we'd be doing too many races here, but we will just follow along with whoever we are on board with when it puts us in. And I think for the second race, we will do qualifying on board with the car that set the previous best lap. Sorry, not previous best lap, the car that won the race. I will go with on board with for Japan. 2 varying tracks actually. A very tight circuit of Japan compared to this one that we're headed to. A very long circuit, the longest on the calendar. It's about 7 kilometers long, around 1 lap, so it's a very high caliber. I think it's easy to learn, but it's very hard to master this circuit. A lot of places where you can also lose the car, but it's nice and sunny for qualifying. One shot, so we've got 1 shot to go at it as they're all just going to begin to ready up. So I'll try and actually just see the specifics, because I know that there are multiple teams represented. I believe that it'll probably be in the announcement section. Here we are, Group B. So France 2, Netherlands 1, Spain is their only team, and then Malta. Those are the teams. Sorry, Malta 1. There are 2 Malta teams, and so most of the groups actually do have more than 4 groups. We've got 5 and some others, but we'll follow along with Jaku in the Williams car, taking it down into La Source. Turn number 1, the hairpin. We do have to brake pretty late if you want to get the absolute perfect run. He's doing pretty well so far through the first corner, up into Eau Rouge, and then flying through Rally on a beautiful corner, completely flat out. You can make some really daring overtaking if you really are the boldest of drivers. But on the Kemmel straight now, on the run up to Les Combes, if I'm not mistaken. He's doing really strong on this lap is Jaku, representing the Maltese team. It's currently Simply Rush on top for Spain at the moment, and Dylan's actually just overtaken him, but it looks like Spain are doing really well. Jaku beginning to slip down the order, but he's found himself jumping up way up the grid through Rivage, now up to No Name, and through the infamous Pouon corner. If you touch the inside curb here, you could go for a little bit of a spin, but he's taken that quite nicely, has Jaku. So now I will just quickly turn on the lap data so we can see his sector time coming through this sort of little S's section on the run up to Stabilo, the lowest point on the circuit, altitude wide. Unfortunately, Simi and Bray have just retired from the session, both of which representing the Maltese team, so that is not what they want to see. But now following on with Jaku up to Blanchimont, a flat out section of the track that is used to be you'd have to lift a slight amount, but with the amount of downforce that these modern day cars have, you don't really need that anymore. 2 more drivers retiring from the session as Axel also leaving out too, but across the line Charlie looks like he's going to take pole for Spain, and it's actually Max Rowe to take the top of the order if I'm not mistaken. So we will just we'll quickly run through the qualifying order and then we'll get ready for the race. Trying not to strain my voice too much, but here we are. Look at the gap between the pair of them. Max Rowe just with the better exit out of the bus stop chicane. He takes pole with a 1:40.3. Charlie in second, and then Matthias in third. J Magic in fourth, fifth for Plix, seventh. Sorry, I've got that all wrong. Sixth for Verstappen. Jakku, who we are following on board with, is in seventh. Eighth is Simply Rush. Then Cordo is in ninth. Then Zydomar in 10th. The Maltese team and the French are struggling at the moment to actually keep it clean. So maybe if we maybe that could cause some havoc for them. Of course, we do have strict corner cutting rules enforced here, which means they can't be too lenient on the track, and they really do have to be careful where they go off the circuit. So we're going to get ready for the Grand Prix. Nice and sunny, clear blue skies up ahead. Normally around the circuit it would be a soft to medium strategy, so no real major changes there. If it is a 25% race, but it could be the whole shebang. I really do hope we're running with 25%, because that'd be quite a bit too long, but maybe, who knows. This is my first time commentated here, and it's been a very long time. I believe this is my first actual commentary where I'm the lead commentator in a very long time. I think since like late last year in a league that's happening today. I won't mention it, but it was a very good experience to be a part of that league. I'm not a part of it anymore, otherwise I would not be here. And I do apologise if the internet quality is not sufficient enough. 11 laps around the circuit. They'll be pulling off for their formation lap around about now. I'm just quickly going to have a look on our stream, just so I can just check everything is running smoothly, and I'll check the chat as well. I'm just going to copy the link actually from Twitter. Copy link, then put it into YouTube. You can see the predictors pit strategy just popped up on your screen. Lap 5 to 9 is when the soft runners are looking to be pitting. We'll have a look at the tyres now. So everyone inside the top 10 starting on the tyre that they qualified on, and with only 16 drivers, there's not going to be too much variation in the strategy. 3 drivers on the medium compound of tyres: Dylan, Chrysal and Axel, so all of varying nations. They are taking that. So I believe actually I'm just trying to think what cars are representing what team. So I believe Mercedes and Ferrari goes to the French team. The Dutch take Renault and Red Bull. Quite fitting that the Dutchies are actually in the Red Bull team, just given Max Verstappen. Probably after this race I might just run off quickly to get a drink, because I can already feel my throat getting slightly tickly. That should not cause too many issues though, hopefully. Let's see, who have we got in the chat? We got Jeff Barron saying Belgium power. Belgium. Oh, this is the wrong stream. Makes sense why right, yeah, I forgot. I went onto the wrong stream. Oops. We haven't got anyone in the chat, sadly. I think everyone is over on the Group A stream. But anyways, Max Rowe now in through the final sector. It's Mercedes at the top of the field, and the Mercedes at the very end of the field too. The 2 cars that we're not seeing represented today is the Alfa Romeo and the Haas team, as Malta have taken up the Williams and the Racing Point cars, and then the McLaren and the Renault. So I got that wrong. Oh, it's AlphaTauri. I do apologise, everyone. But anyways, enough about the cars. I will let you know once we finish the race, of course, who is of what team, as Axel is just rounding off into his grid slot. We'll get ready to go very soon. We can see a hard-working Renault mechanic on the side there as we await the 5 red lights. They are on. And we are underway. It looks like it's been a brilliant start from the McLaren there, as actually he might be alongside, coming into the first corner now, breaking into La Source. It is Max leading from the McLaren of Charlie. Matthias in 3rd position. Looks like there's a bit of smoke further back behind from locking up, but now on the run up to Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. It looks like J Magic is right onto the back of Matthias already into this one. You can see he's pulling out of the slipstream ever so slightly. lead on the first lap. It's crucial to be ahead if you really want to set themselves up for the entire race. Held Chrisor has managed to find... I'm not too sure what's happened there. The entire grid has just lagged out there. What? Everyone's just left. Is this an issue on my end? Have I lagged out? Help! What's happened here? I might have lagged out and it's just put everyone out of the session. I'm gonna ask in the commentators chat. Did the lobby just completely die? Was it me lagging out? Let's see if I've got another invite from Verstappen. I don't, but I should be able to just quickly. Do apologise for the technical difficulties here. It looks like I've lagged out or something. Right, you gotta love Codemasters, don't you? GPR Verstappen. I'm just putting his name in. And I should be getting going very soon. Host lagged out, not the racers. Let's see if he's in a session. If he's in a session, because it might have been me, just completely lagging out. Looks like he's actually still in the lobby. If I can join in now, there might be issues on my end. Everyone, I'm sorry. Yeah, someone said I was the only one to leave, so I think it was me actually lagging out. Yeah, I don't want to leave the session. Right, let's go back in. We'll get ready to commentate again. We'll get back into focus mode. It's just me having issues on my end because well, I'm not surprised. My internet's not the best nowadays on PS4. I need to clean out my PS4. I think that might be an issue of it. But anyways, we are gonna go back into the race. Do apologise for the slight technical difficulties there. Looks like internet issues and Codemaster servers really do strike again. So let's see. Coming on to lap number 3 on the run up to P1, it looks like everything is stayed relatively around the same margins, so it doesn't look like we've missed all that much. I think Dylan has begun to fall a lot more down the order. We might have seen some pit stops coming out. Simply, Malta and Simi and Dylan as well, all coming into the pit lane. Interestingly enough, Dylan is the only one who was able to, he was forced to go into the softs. They'll probably will make it to the end, but it'll be a big struggle for him to really get home on those tyres. So early medium runners seemingly struggling at the moment. Chrisor is one to watch out for at the end of the race, even though around this circuit the ultimate strategy is not that effective, unlike some other races. But Charlie's going for an undercut strategy on the run up towards lap number 4. He's already pitting, but Max looks like he's on pace at the moment because he's just set the new fastest lap of the race, a 44.0, going in for the Frenchman. Really starting it strong for the French team, as Plix, his teammate, is rear gunner it seems. Of course, racing in the Ferrari, is he's in 4th position at the moment. It was 5th prior to this, but now Matthias left without DRS after Charlie is pitted. He'll be under immense pressure from J Magic behind and could make up a strong position for the Spanish team. It looks like all of the Spaniards are actually got the same name, FVR in front of that. I'm not too sure what FVR is, what organisation that is, but it shouldn't matter too much. You could just see in the rear view mirrors, Plix is right onto the back of J Magic. He's doing really strong to keep up with him there. Dylan has found a way past Simi. I believe that was a DRS move, easy as you like. So now, once they get into Blanchimont, it'll be interesting to see whether J Magic utilises a bit of his ERS to close up to Matthias, and whether Plix can also get involved a slight bit. You can see 4 tenths is the gap. We'll watch that come down as they go out throughout this Blanchimont sector. You might actually be trying to push him to maybe make a move into the bus stop chicane, but with 2 back-to-back DRS straights, you wouldn't expect someone to try and make a move into bus stop chicane or into La Source. As here now coming into the bus stop, yeah, as I expected, J Magic not going to fight Matthias too hard there, as they're all seemingly staying out, and actually Matthias and J Magic both pulling into the pit lane. That makes it a French 1-2. I believe some other drivers pulling into the pit lane as well. So we've got a few drivers who are deciding that those softs have been taken far enough. As Plick, Zyderma, Bray and Axel, the only drivers to stay out, it seems. Of course, I would expect Axel to stay out because he's trying to push those mediums just that little bit more. But interestingly, I think it's an early stop from Chrysler. He's going to go longer on that same set of soft tyres than he would on the mediums. He's just come up behind Dylan here, so the early pit stop has at least allowed for Dylan to get back past. As side by side up Eau Rouge, I do apologise that I missed that one there. Who has got DRS out, the pair of them? It looks like it's actually gone to Ryan, but Kodo could be trying to make this move as Simply Rush getting out of the way of J Magic, who's just pitted, going to have fresher tyres than his Renault teammate, of course, fighting for the same team. The Spanish team, really strong capacity that these guys have, and it looks like Verstappen's trying to make a move into a barge. He's getting very close to the back of Simply, and he couldn't find a way through. He was getting very, very close to the back of that Renault car, and he's trying his hardest to fight through the pack. This is the closest gap that we've got on circuit, but he just couldn't find a way through. So it was brilliant defending from the Spaniard there to just hold off Verstappen for the time being. But 1 lap fresher tyres could be the difference between a really bit of strong pace, as he just can't seem to get close enough. But it looks like Simply might actually be losing DRS to his teammate here. Yeah, he's out of the DRS range of J Magic, so it looks like J Magic really strong on pace at the moment. Plix and Maxro and Zyderma coming into the pit lane. Looks like Bray as well. Axel's the remaining driver yet to make a pit stop in this race, and he's trying to just run a little bit longer at the beginning of lap number 6 on his tyres. So we'll see where Maxro comes out in comparison to into his fellow drivers that he was fighting. The real driver we do have to watch is, of course, Charlie, and now coming through La Source, it just looks like Maxro is going to come out slightly ahead of the McLaren car, but now this is going to be the real fight. DRS through the Kemmel straight. It should be an easy move for Charlie. He's burned up a lot of his DRS, but now at the top of the hill, here it is. DRS now enabled onto the Kemmel straight. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go to the right hand side. The move up the inside, and it looks like both McLaren cars are getting busy here because J Magic making a move. The Spaniards are setting their grid alight at the moment, and it is the move for Charlie ahead of Maxro, ahead of J Magic. A big gap between J Magic and Maxro. So it looks like the breakaway pair, the Mercedes and the McLaren of the French team representative of Maxro, and then Charlie representing the Spanish team, of course. So brilliant stuff from the Spaniards, both making simultaneous moves, and that is really putting them in a strong position in this championship. Of course, the highest scoring team will go into the next round. As, it looks like Dylan's around, and Dylan's got a bit of wing damage. That is on the left side end plate, and it just looks like he's lost that at poo on there. Really unfortunate for him, but now the tables completely turn here for the Frenchman, because he's already right onto the back of Charlie. 2 tenths is the gap at the moment. Separate DRS detection points for Kemmel Straight and Radion, but up towards La Source. Doesn't look like Max wants to go for the move. Axel pulling into the pit lane. He's had enough of those medium tyres. Going to go onto the softs towards the end of the race, and he'll be rapid in comparison to his rivals. But now Max doesn't want to make a move here. He's just going to tempt fate there. Look at him, he's getting really close to the back of Charlie, as now here it is. The tables completely turned. This time last lap it was Charlie on the back of Max Rowe, just come out of the pit lane, and now he's got fresher medium tyres that he can burn up to get close to his rival. Max Rowe now for the move of the lead, and that is an easy overtake even before they almost get DRS, and that is the move sorted, done and dusted. Matthias might have a more difficult time of it. He might actually have to try and hold it around the outside, and J Magic just going to let him through. Not going to cause too many issues for the Dutchman there. It just seems like they're all going to be trading paces for the time being, but it is when we get to the dying dying laps of the race. Lap 11, they're going to be waiting for each other to choke the entire race. And they're really going to strike while the iron is hot. This top 5 all hotly contested at the moment. Matthias is actually beginning to close up to Charlie ever so slightly. It looks like Maxro has got a much better run through the second sector as Plix, that is a big one. 3-second time penalty added to his race time. With a grid this close, this could drop him way down the order, almost put him out of contention of the top 10 finish. So let's see, coming through here into Stabilo, you can see Charlie's already struggling in comparison to Max Rose, so really not what he would have wanted. He's actually lost the DRS advantage that he needs, and you can see the ERS as well, the energy that they've got, the battery that they can utilise for the overtake modes. Max Rose got way more in excess, so we're really going to help him here. But the McLarens are not done yet because Plix is pulling to the outside. I didn't even notice that one as he's tried to swing it around the outside. He hasn't managed to get the speed on J Magic, but he just caused a couple of issues for him. He could maybe try and go for it into La Source. He's going around the outside. Lock up from J Magic there. They're close to contact and they're actually forcing each other off the circuit there. That was inevitable with the amount that they were fighting, but now side by side on the run up to Eau Rouge. Plix is the one to back out, but who is going to be the one to blink on the straight? This could be a 3-wide situation as here they go now onto the Kemmel straight on lap number 8. You can see Plix pulling to the outside line side by side with J Magic, now pulling up to Lecom. Has he got the speed? Has he got the brake power? There's the move. That is P4 for Plix representing the French team. J Magic, when it looks so good, he's now lost 2 positions in a couple of laps, and he's trying to just find any semblance of an overtake into Ravaz, but he couldn't get through there. So that is Matthias in 3rd, Plix in 4th, and J Magic demoted to 5th position. The McLaren team really beginning to struggle, of course, representing the Spanish nation. It looks like the Renaults also representing the Spanish are pretty strong in 7th and 8th. Of course, the Spaniards are actually separated by Verstappen, as I think we can have just a little bit of a breather after that one. I certainly need one myself. But yeah, number 8. This race has gone by pretty quickly. It shouldn't go as quick for Japan. I believe we'll do 13 laps around there. Very fun circuit, and it is in the favour of the wheel runners, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys can fight each other. But now we could see a bit of a part 2 to all this fighting that we saw last time by, as Matthias now will be feeling the pressure from Plix, the charging Frenchman in this Belgian Grand Prix. Once all this battling is done, we'll have a look at the position changes on the cool down lap, I'd say. Whilst Dylan's waiting to finish his, because he did of course come into the pit lane to fix that wing damage. But here it is now, Plix on the back of Matthias, J Magic on the back of Plix, and the Verstappen, who's managed to find his way into this fight, is onto the back of J Magic. So what can we see from the Ferrari car? He made a move this time last lap on J Magic. Can he make the same one on Matthias? Easy as you like, taking candy from a baby, that one there. He moves up into 3rd position, still got that 3-second time penalty to negotiate later on in this race, but the pace that he's shown is immense, and J Magic might be trying to make a move on Matthias very shortly. Matthias having a really strong race actually up here in 4th position, and there's been a little bit of a touch between Verstappen and J Magic. J Magic's into the wall, and I just think I was on board with him there, and I think that might have been a little bit of a touch. I don't think the car would lose the rear like that. We'll have a look on Verstappen's onboard. He might have a bit of wing damage. He's certainly lost time to the cars in front and to the cars behind. I didn't think we noticed this, but Kodo's actually managed to find a way past Simply here, as now that is really putting a dampener on the Spanish team's mood today. Unfortunately, they're going to be losing a whole chunk of points. If they could have found a way past Matthias, then they would have been in a podium position, but it just was not meant to be. Contact unfortunately does happen. That is just what happens in racing. Really unfortunate that it had to be J Magic, who was in such a strong fighting position, but all of that has kind of put a little bit of a cork in the bottle of all the fighting that we've been seeing. However, now fighting for a potential P4 could be Verstappen and Kodo, so the Renault team going to be helped out a lot of this. It's kind of limiting the Spanish team's damage here, so at least that is something to hold on to in this one. Verstappen just hanging into the DRS of Matthias though, and it doesn't seem like anyone is close enough to really try and mount a challenge on each other. I think Verstappen has the DRS, but Kodo's using his overtake here. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to go to the inside or outside? He makes a dummy move, and that is to the inside line, up to Lecom. Will Verstappen fight this one here? As now you can see Kodo's got the move, and that is 5th place for the Renault car. He's actually just set a purple first sector as well. Really just shows how quick he is at this moment in time. Could maybe find himself latching onto the back of Matthias. Could have been a bit deja vu for the Spanish team, because Verstappen got very, very close to the back of Kodo coming through Ravage. We've got 2 more laps to go. Max has absolutely broken away from Charlie. He's just driven at his own pace, and he's been absolutely stupendous in this final dying stages of the race. Charlie's put up a valiant effort to really fight with him though, but he just could not, unfortunately, and there's been a yellow flag. I think that might have been Bray. Bray certainly looking like he's going slow through here, so he might have just had a half spin through Poo, and I wouldn't expect any damage from a half spin. After this one's done, whilst we're setting up the lobby for Japan, I will go and get some water, because my voice is absolutely dying at the moment. I do apologise that I will have to leave you all, but it's a lot more easy when you're with other people. More yellow flags. I believe that's Dylan again. I don't think we'll have to go and look at his onboard. As let's begin lap number 11. We'll make sure to catch him at the end of the race, as Matthias has found his way onto the back of Plix. This could be a move for the race. Actually a podium position. Matthias, if he just doesn't get a penalty towards the end of this one, it should be fine for him. So yeah, sorry, I just saw something on my phone. Here it is, Matthias. Easy as you like. Easy as you like for Matthias, and that is the move. Well made for him, and Plix just really could not fight that one at all. So yeah, Matthias found himself in P3 on circuit. He can possibly catch up to Charlie here. It's not a guarantee, but he's definitely been catching him the last couple of laps. And my voice is beginning to very, very much die. I've kind of overworked myself with the comms lately. I believe this is just a one-off thing, and yeah, I don't normally commentate on a Friday, but Jesus, I'm a little bit rusty as main commentator. Sorry, just quickly had to mute myself there. But here it is now. Max Rowe's done everything in this race. He's done it perfectly. He's almost got a 4-second gap to Charlie behind him. Is now coming through the bus stop chicane for the final time. For the first race in Group B, it is going to be the French team standing on top, and they never said die. Here it is, crossing the line. Max Rowe wins the race. Charlie going to cross the line. He'll be taking second in this one. Matthias in third. 4th place for Plix. And there it is, Plix dropping down the order because of that 3-second time penalty. Kodo going to be moved up into 4th. 5th for Verstappen. He might have a penalty coming his way, depending on the outcome of Steward's inquiry that might be coming for the Dutch team. Simply in 6th. 7th for Plix. Yaku in 8th. 9th for Ryan. 10th for Zaidemar. Creasor in 11th. 12th for Axel. Bray in 13th. Looks like Simi in 13th. J-Magic in 14th. And then Dylan in 15th position. The vocals are not liking me today. They're really not my friend in this one. No DNF, luckily, guys. Looking really good for the Spanish team after this race. Yeah, they all really had a good time there. Oh dear. I hope my audio's okay now. I can just test this. Right now, I'm loading into the results, and there is a podium at the moment. I hope that everything is up to date, but Max is on top, so we'll follow him in qualifying for the next one. I am just quickly going to run through the order, and then I'll go and get a little bit of water just to calm my voice. I think up until qualifying or the start of the race, I'm just going to keep it nice and mellow. Do apologise, it won't be as exciting, but it's a lot more difficult than some people would think to commentate. Here it is, your final results for the Belgian Grand Prix, of course, unconfirmed at the moment. We'll see with any stewards' inquiries, but Max Rowe taking the top step of the podium, Charlie in second, rounding off the top three is Matthias, and Kodo in fourth, fifth for Verstappen, sixth for Simply, Plix taking up seventh, eighth for Yaku, and then ninth for Ryan. It doesn't look like the Maltese team has had a very good run in this one, as Zuidema in 10th, 11th for Chrysler, Axel in 12th, 13th for Bray, 14th for Simi, and then the last two were J Magic, who managed to set the fastest lap on the final lap of the Grand Prix, 42.8, and then Dylan taking up the final step, unfortunately, on the grid in 16th position. I'll be back in just one moment to go and grab myself a glass of water. And good evening, everyone. I made sure to do that as quickly as I could. The time locally for me is 7:30 PM. How is everyone tonight? I'm doing good. I'm really excited to be here for League Racing Nations Cup. I was actually racing last year, but it wasn't that good for me. I was part of the Scotland team because I just decided, one part Scottish, might as well race for Scotland. I got to meet some great people, but unfortunately I was part of the second team and we didn't qualify. I was a lot slower back then. I'm still very slow now, so yeah, what can you do? But now I'm back as a commentator. It is my duty and my privilege to be here. As I said previously, I don't normally commentate on a Friday night, but yeah, I'm here. Hi everyone. So we're going to get ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. One-shot qualifying. We'll make sure to go on board with Max Rowe, because I said that we'd follow along with whoever was on pole for the... sorry, not whoever was on pole. He was on pole last time, but whoever won the last race, and he did both. So we will be following along with the Mercedes team. Of course, the Frenchman. Just going off the top of my head, I don't know the point system. Do apologise, should have done my research before. But I think it is either the French or the Spain. I think Spain might actually be on top at the moment. Because there were two Frenchmen that didn't actually get in the top 10. As, oh, this is a horrible glitch. There we go. As Axel's unfortunately left the session. Oh dear. Let's find Max Rowe. Oh god, it is a nightmare to get onto board with the driver. Here it is now, coming to turn number 1. And of course the famous S's now as of the next couple of corners. You can see you really want to attack these as much as you can. He missed his apex on the second one there, and he's gone oh so close to spinning out the car there. And my voice still playing tricks on me. Dunlop next for Max Rowe, representing the French flag, of course, now into the two definite corners. You can take these very, very quickly, and he seems to have done that nice and brilliantly. And now up towards the hairpin corner, we can see some very ambitious moves coming in through here later on. Of course, when he gets to the race, doesn't look like Max is having a great time in his qualifying session. It's currently J Magic on top at the moment, but anything can change as they fastly approach the spoon corner, where of course Vettel and Verstappen crashed into each other back in 2018. Remember that time when we could actually go outside? But here it is now on the run up to the infamous 130R. A beautiful flat out left-hander. Here it is on board with Max Rowe, and he's done that nice and beautifully. Is now into the Casio triangle to complete his lap. Matthias looks like he's actually managed to get onto the top step, but here it is now to cross the line. Who is going to be on pole position? It is Matthias, and yeah, brilliant lap 26 flat for him. As seemed like two drivers struggled on their laps. I mean, a couple drivers actually not qualifying at all. My eyes are really hurting at the moment. Hang on, I'm going to set my lights up. Make them a little bit nice and bright. There we go. Here is your grid for the Japanese Grand Prix. Matthias taking pole position by 1.5 cents over Kodo. Plex, who came 7th in the last race after a penalty, in 3rd. 4th for Verstappen. Ryan Malta, really strong from him, in 5th. 6th for Max Rowe, of course, winner of the Belgian Grand Prix, out qualifying Yaku. Or Jakku, I'll go with Jakku here, for 7th, 8th for J Magic, 9th for Zydama, simply rounding off the top 10. Then Chris Orr getting a free choice tyre, as is Dylan and Simi. A couple of drivers not even qualifying in this one. Bray and Charlie was disqualified out of that one. Wow, Charlie is probably the biggest name there, actually coming 2nd in the previous race. Do apologise for that. Yeah, I'm very sorry for that one there, but we're going to get ready soon. I'm hyped for this one. Japan is a very underrated circuit, I see. It's so historic around F1 and in the paddock, but a lot of people really don't like the circuit to drive on the game. And yeah, a lot of people are on the pad, of course, so it's a bit more difficult to get around the fast and leaning left-handers, but not just left-handers, right-handers as well. Through the S's, sometimes my mind just wanders off and does whatever it pleases. Yeah, we're just waiting for them all to load, to select their strategies, and then ready up, and we'll soon get underway. There it is, 30 seconds for the drivers to get going, and then we'll have the formation lap, and then we can get underway for the Japanese Grand Prix, the final round of race 1.1 for Group B. If you're just joining us now, or you just joined in the last 5 or so minutes, the team being represented today are Spain. It is Spain's only team. Spain are doing really strong in the constructors at the moment, and they had a brilliant race in Belgium, and then France taking the win of that one. France 2, to be completely exact with you. They'll be next to Netherlands and then Malta as well, the first teams for those respective ones. Only 4 teams in Group B, and I believe 5 teams in Group A and Group D. Group D should be starting soon, as is Group C. I can actually just get the time up. In about 20 minutes time, we'll be seeing Group D going. We'll be finishing up here very soon. Of course, 13 laps around this Japanese Grand Prix. Should be going for about 17 or so minutes. I think is a rough 25% race. Let's have a look at the tyres, of course. Everyone inside the top 10, as Dylan and Simi getting disqualified from that one. Everyone inside the top 10 allowed to start on whatever tyre they want, and then outside the top 10 you can no, inside the top 10 you get to start on the tyre that you qualified on, and then outside the top 10 you can start on any tyre that you want. And disaster for Simi, because he is one of 3 drivers who selected the medium tyre, and the medium tyre is a lot less grippy at the beginning of the race. You need a lot more heat if you really want to benefit from that. Let's have a look at some helmets. I think Matthias got a very nice helmet. Yeah, he's got an orange helmet for the Dutch team he is representing. As oh dear, Chrysal's left the session. I hope this isn't me lagging out again, because Axel left at the beginning of the last one, of qualifying, so yeah, and then around about lap number 1, I think, at the end of that lap, I completely lagged out of the session. I had to rejoin through the name, actually. I had to search up his name to rejoin. So here we are. AI should be taking over around about here, and we'll get ready to go very shortly. We'll just go on board with Charlie just at the beginning of the Casio triangle. Luckily, Chrysler has been able to get back into the session. He's starting in 11th position. I'll have a lot fresher tyres, because you do get a fresh set of tyres if you're outside the top 10, which he is in 11th position. And I believe it's J. Cole, a good friend of mine and fellow commentator. He calls it the poor man's pole. Oh, it might be James. I do get mixed up with a lot of people that I commentate with, because they're all too darn good. But here we are. Matthias, he's letting his tyres cool on the grid, and he's in neutral at this moment. But here we are. We're getting ready for the Japanese Grand Prix, race number 2 of this session for Group number B, letter B. Here it is now. The 5 red lights are on. And they are out, and we are underway here for the Japanese Grand Prix. It looks like it's been a brilliant start from Matthias. You can see a Mercedes hassling the back of Verstappen coming into turn number 1, and it looks like they're actually side by side further down the order. I'm surprised there hasn't been any contact yet. It looks like Verstappen has managed to hold off Ryan Malta here, of course, now into the S's section. It looks like Matthias has just gotten off the line beautifully here, and he's managed to fight his way up into the lead. And there's been contact. Simi's off the circuit, Charlie's off as well, and I think Chrysler might have been involved in something there. Bray down into 13th by 1.3 seconds back from 12th. A lot of contact early on in this race, and that has costed a lot of teams some good positions. Here is J Magic round, trying to go up the inside of Max Rowe. No room at the end for him there. Yakuno could be onto the back of him very, very shortly on the run up to Spoon Curb. You can see he's utilising his overtake to really try and hassle the back of the McLaren car, but he just couldn't get close enough as Matthias trying to pull out a bit of a gap to Coda behind him. Plix in 3rd position, with actually Verstappen right onto the back of him. He could try and move into 130R. Here he is now on the inside of Ferrari. He's got that move, and he's made that one stick, and that is probably already a candidate for overtake of the race. It looks like Yaku's trying to go around the outside of J Magic, and yeah, he's forced him off just a slight bit there, and he's somehow hanging on in there. In comparison, they're 3 wide on the exit of the final corner. That's Zydemer, who's actually just made a double overtake on the pair of them, and now they're still side by side coming through the first corner. J Magic does not want to back out of this one. They're still wheel to wheel. What a save from J Magic there. He was so close to spinning after just that slight bit of contact with Yaku, but he has managed to hold on to that one as further up the order. Oh dear, it's a bit of a timing glitch. It should fix itself by the time they cross the first sector split. There it is, as Plix onto the back of Verstappen. He was probably hanging with his tail in between his legs after that one, where he was completely mugged off at 130R. You have a vengeance to seek, and he'll definitely try and fight with Verstappen for the remainder of this Grand Prix. Verstappen really has been the cork in the bottle, and actually it looks like the Netherlands team is scoring really, really well so far in this Grand Prix. Zydemer is not close. No, the timings have completely frozen between Max Rowe and Zydemer, but here is Max, speaking of which, on the back. So now using just that little bit of overtake. I don't think he's going to try and attempt to move in through 130R. You can see he just backed off a slight bit there, but he's actually got a much better run through the corner. Could maybe dive up the inside into the Casio triangle. That's what he's done. There's a little bit of wheel bang between the pair of them, more on exit, and they're still going side by side. And now on the exit of the final turn, you can see they are wheel to wheel. DRS has been enabled to slam 1 DRS zone on this circuit, but that does not matter at the moment because it's a complete drag race into the first corner. Who's got the speed? Who's got the momentum? It is Max, moving up into 5th position. What a move from him there. He's managed to get past the Maltese driver, who really didn't have a strong race in Belgium, but here he is up in 6th position. Really really impressive from Ryan. He's just lost out to the man that won last race, and he's on a bit of a charge in this one. He started in that 6th position. He had a bad start, I believe, after getting overtaken somewhere along the line, but he's managed to claw his way back up, you know. Fair play to him. You really do have to give it to Max, and now he's almost onto the back of the leading train. Speaking of which, it is getting absolutely airtight between the pair, between all of them, as you can just about see Kodo. Kodo's losing some time to Matthias, and I think Verstappen is probably closer to the back of him than he would have liked, but Matthias, I'd expect, is probably going to try whenever he can give a bit of slipstream to Verstappen. They're both part of the same team despite not being in the exact same car. They are representing the first Netherlands team. Maybe Verstappen might not even need that slipstream. He got so close to the back of Kodo, but he just couldn't find a way through. In through the Casio triangle, and Kodo coming into the lane very, very early there has gifted Verstappen DRS, so that at least helps him in some regard. But you can see how much of his overtake he had to burn up there. I've got the penalties open. I'm very sorry about that one, but a lot of drivers coming to the lane fitting on the medium tyres to go to the end of the race. That is what you'd expect in a 25% regardless of the circuit. Mediums to hard, mediums to soft, or soft to mediums is the way to go, as Yaku just lost a little bit of time to Zyderman in this one. Zyderman, of course, overtaking him and another driver, I believe it was J Magic. Then he managed to fight his way past. A brilliant overtake from Zyderman. Opportunity spotted there. I would not expect Verstappen and Matthias to fight whatsoever. They don't want to risk anything in this Grand Prix. And I'd actually expect Verstappen to be a little bit of a rear gunner to Matthias. Matthias is scoring so well in these last two races. He's been very strong. I might actually have to give him a little bit of a well done message after this one, because I know he does have a little bit of a hard time with league racing, and there's a lot of mistakes in his repertoire. But you know what? He's really proved himself. He's got pace, and everyone knew that he has got the pace. My nose is, for some reason, getting a little bit blocked. I hope it's not too evident to hear. I'm just going to check the chat, see if everything is okay on that end, as the leader's now pulling into the pit lane, as what you'd expect. Zyderman having to stay out, of course, because he'd be double stacking with Matthias. That is a little bit of a curse of being so close to your teammate on circuit. You can see all of the teams have kind of just separated out a little bit, but it'd be interesting to see where the leaders come out in comparison to Kodo and Plix. They're just coming out the final corner now, and I believe that Matthias is just about to cross back onto the circuit. There he is. He's accelerating now in towards turn 1. He's come out just ahead of Kodo and Plix as well, but Verstappen's lost quite a bit of time in this train. I'm not sure if he got held up or whatever in the pit lane, as Yaku's just come out slightly behind simply, and now J Magic's trying to find a way past Yaku. There's more contact between the pair of them, these two going hammer and tongue in this Grand Prix. Looks like J Magic has won out of this fight, and now Axel on these soft tyres trying to go to the end on that Red Bull tyre. He's really fighting the back of the Williams car, hounding him at this point, just lurking behind him and trying to just put as much pressure on as he can. But now unfortunately for Matthias, he's not got that rear gunner of Verstappen that he would have liked, because he'll have a really aggressive, hyper aggressive Kodo onto the back of him. 3/10 is the gap at the moment. We'll see what it is coming through Spoon. You want to brake just after the 50-meter board, run it nice and wide, and then get the best exit, best run onto the little straight above up towards 130. Of course, this is the only figure of 8 circuit. Zyderman coming to the end. I'd expect Crystal to come in as well, but it looks like he's actually in an AI mode. Yeah, you can see just by that steering input that is not human, as Kodo's lost a bit of time to Matthias, so we'll see what he can do here. Now onto the start-finish straight. Zyderman exiting the pit lane. He shouldn't be fighting his teammate too much. I actually think he'll be quite a ways behind them, but an overcut could at least give him some tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. Couldn't make a move there. Maxro has managed to get past Zyderman by quite some margin. Ryan actually very close to Zyderman too, so they're all being a little bit bunched up after this sort of pit stop phase in this Grand Prix. We'll see the Verstappen just trying to close up to Plix and Kodo. He can't seem to just get the confidence on the tyres and really take the fight to them. But here it is now through Degner 1. You can see how much more commitment I think Plix has than Kodo. He's really pushing his luck. He was one of the only drivers to get a 3-second time penalty in the previous race, and that could just be shown by how aggressive he was on the track limits. It's a really strong trait to have, of course, to be aggressive, but if you're over aggressive you can make mistakes more easily and really be in a worse position if you do succumb to that. But it seems like in the second sector Kodo's a lot quicker than Matthias. As far as the energy situation goes, it looks like Matthias is in a much better position than his rivals, but of course DRS is not a factor for Matthias unless he manages to pick it off the AI car of Chris Saw. It doesn't look like it. It just crossed the detection point now, and he's not close enough to the back of the Ferrari car, who stays out for another lap. Maxro taking up 3-second time penalty. He's not having a very strong race compared to his previous one. And now the strategy for one, I think, yeah, that's what the in-game says for the soft runners to do, but you can probably run a little bit longer on those medium tyres, if I'm being completely honest with you, as they just don't seem like they're fighting too much, and Verstappen getting very close to the back of Plix, but they have just about cleared from the top 6. I think Plix has made a bit of an error there, and that's what I was saying. He was a lot more aggressive than the other drivers, but those mistakes can really cost you. And maybe he's going to try and hold up Verstappen a little bit to maybe help him get past Verstappen and then put them in a bad position for the Netherlands team. But he's not even, he's not going to try and hold him up too much, as Crusoe losing positions now to Matthias and Kodo, I'd expect. Yeah, he will probably be coming to his AI car, will pull off into the box and get out of the way of all these guys, because it's quite annoying to have a random Ferrari just sitting in the middle of you, and it might have actually costed him a little bit of time, because you can see he's not as close as he was before. All of that carnage happened with Chris Hill getting in the way. And now Max Rowe onto the back and down the inside of Verstappen into 130R. And just like Verstappen did on Plex on lap number 1, lap number 7, it goes to Max Rowe. He manages to make that move stick, and now he'll be onto the back of his Frenchman teammate. I think Plex might actually not try and fight this too hard as Chris Hill comes into the pit lane. Doesn't look like Plex is going to give up any time, as oh Jesus, look at how close Kodo is. There's too much to really cover by myself. But it is okay, of course, as here we are now, lap number 8. We've only got a couple more laps remaining. Simi is unfortunately retired. No safety car, I'd expect to come out, of course, in this. We don't want any issues with the safety car, which is quite common, unsurprisingly, on F1 2020, as yeah, we're just settling into a bit of a rhythm, and we'll expect some moves to come in the next couple of laps, as just when that will be is up to Kodo to really push with the commitment. Now the has shifted over, so it's actually Kodo in a better position than Matthias. Matthias just burning up that little bit more energy to kind of break away on the straight Simi, leaving the session. There is no other races after this one. I'll get the results done and then I'll wrap up the stream. And then you can go all watch Group C and Group D. Whilst we're in this period of not really many overtakes, I think I'll ask you to subscribe to the QVR YouTube channel and follow QleenVigor on Twitter, as I think going for that move really right up to the back of Matthias has costed Kodo a move potential. He's not close enough to the back of him here, and he can't make that move stick. So really, he made that mistake there, as J-Magic managed to get past Simply. I don't expect Simply to have fought that one too hard, but you can see Yaku getting onto the back of the Spaniards, and we could see a fight for 9th position on circuit at the moment. Doesn't seem like he's trying to fight him too hard through the S section. I don't blame him. It's a very, very difficult place to really force an overtake, and you just don't want to be doing it, I guess. As here it is, you can see they're all getting a lot closer to each other. On lap number 9 of the Grand Prix, Matthias still leading this one, Kodo in 2nd, 3rd for Plex, and then Max Rowe in 4th with a 3-second time penalty to his name. That will probably drop him behind Verstappen and behind Zuidema. Zuidema actually beginning to close up to his train by quite some margin. I don't expect Ryan to be jumping Max Rowe in this one, though, unfortunately, for his race. Actually, we could just quickly set it to gap to the leader. He is in range. Fair enough. Yeah, he's just about in range. He's 2.8 seconds back from Max Rowe, so it's unlikely that he'll be making a move. Here is Kodo on the back of Matthias through the Casio triangle. You can see how much more confident on the brakes he is in comparison to his Dutchman rival at the moment. Here it is now, down the straightaway. Which way is he going to go? He's had to go around the outside into turn number 1. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? It looks like, oh, there might have been a bit of contact there. Seems like he's still okay in this one. Matthias still trying to fight this. He can't do so. And that is Kodo moving into the lead of the Grand Prix on lap number 10 of this one. So what a brilliant overtake for Kodo there. He's managed to make it through, and he can try and pull out a gap as all that was happening. It looks like Plex actually let Max Rowe through, maybe because he knows that he's the faster car at this point in time, and if Max Rowe can really challenge Matthias and Kodo, then Plex could pick up the pieces of a battle. So he's just going to try and stick closely as he can to his Frenchman compatriot, as you could say, and we can see some tasty battles. Max Rowe, no holds barred at this point. I think he's just going to try and push with all his might. I'm having to take numerous sips of water. After 10 laps, the field is so insanely close. I do agree with you there. Well, that's from the QVR account itself. But yeah, I firmly agree. That is a very, very close grid. Aside from a couple guys just sitting outside, they're pretty much all in a DRS train of each other. Looks like the top 5 have really broken away in this one. As Matthias still can sense a move for the lead. Looks like he's not got the overtake to that is battery power to actually mount a challenge onto Koda, but maybe if he can get close enough he could try and sense a move into one of the Tegnas. I know it's a very opportunistic place to go for a move as Max Rowe gets onto the grass. He lost himself quite a bit of time there by going a lot more aggressive onto the curb, and he's made a bit of a mistake, dipped I believe his right side tyres into the dirt. You can see how he's sliding about ever so slightly, so he's lost a bit of grip on those tyres by going for that aggressive move, probably just trying to scare Matthias. I don't know, but I think that is an error on his behalf. Still got that 3-second time penalty to lumber around. I think he might be in a position where he's clearing Ryan, so he'll probably be finishing 6th in this one, if I'm not too mistaken. It should be in 6th position, I think. Yeah, 6th is where Zyden was running at the moment. He's catching up to the back of Verstappen. I've really got to hand it to the Dutch team. They're all doing so well in this race. Dylan's not had a good day of it, unfortunately. He's had a crash in Belgium. I think he might have been involved in the turn 1 incident that happened. Another Frenchman and another Mercedes car to pick up 3-second time penalty as Axel could drop him out of 11th position in comparison to Charlie. As I've just gone on board with the Ferrari car, the wrong Ferrari car, because I wanted to go on board with Plix. Never mind, I want to go on board with Matthias, because you see he's 3.5 tenths back from Koda, beginning lap number 12 out of 13. We're in the dying stages of this race. Jay Magic has just found a move on Ryan, and Ryan could not fight that one. And it looks like one Spaniard moves up, the other one moves down. Simply, unfortunately, losing position to Yaku, who's got 2 laps fresher tyres. That probably contributed to a bit of the move there, catching up to him at a rate of knots. He managed to capitalise on the slower Spaniard. While one Renault car struggling in this race, the other one flourishing at the moment, because he's absolutely setting the timing screen to light in this one. Koda's had a brilliant race of it. We'll just quickly do position changes, because I don't believe Koda was on pole. And yeah, there it is. He's moved up 1 position. Matthias dropping down, and then Max Rowe getting up 3 positions. Of course, that will be completely taken away from him after penalties are applied. Plix down 1, so for Verstappen. Then Zydo has made up 3. Really gotta say, I'm impressed. Axel and Charlie making up a lot of positions as well for the pair of them, but of course they are way down the order in 11th and 12th. Here we are though, about to begin the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix, and I think Matthias has been waiting for this move to come about, waiting for this point to be really here, because he's had a lot worse of an exit than Koda, but it is all or nothing now for the Dutchman. You can see he's staying in the wheel tracks of the Spaniard. Which way is he going to go? He has to commit to a move now. He's going around the outside at turn number 1. He's actually managed to get a switchback move, and now they're going to go side by side through the S's section around the outside. He's just trying to hold him there. There's contact, and no, all that work has been undone. I think Maxwell's got a bit of damage as well, and he wasn't clear. And that's such a hard place to go, and well, Matthias really the one to suffer and all that. I think Verstappen might be able to take up 2nd position in this race, as he's forced the move there. He's given him a little bit of a touch into Degna 1, has Verstappen on Max Rowe, and maybe he could try and take him into the hairpin corner. He's going to go deep on the brakes and make that move stick, but Max Rowe on the switchback, cool as a cucumber. He's made that one stick, but it is not over, because struggling with that wing damage, he can't fight forever. He's just trying to hold him off and put him into the path of Plix. So that's why Verstappen is so desperate for this move on Max Rowe, because Plix still being a major threat in this race. Kodo way up the circuit, he'll be winning this one, but here it is. Max Rowe and Verstappen fought so hard. Just a couple of laps behind us through 130R. Verstappen now, he's actually had a very bad run there, and now he's allowing for Plix to go around his outside. Kodo, I can't go on board with him. There's contact between Plix and Verstappen. That is the race over. Kodo has won this race. 3-second time penalty. Verstappen got a penalty. When did Verstappen... I think Verstappen might have just picked that right at the end. Zuiderman's got third. What an end to this Grand Prix. I didn't quite realise that. Oh my goodness me. So penalties coming out for Max Rowe and for Verstappen. Verstappen must have just picked that one up right at the end, right at the death of things. Oh my goodness me. I apologise for not sounding as excited as I am. I'm just in a bit of shock at the moment. It was all hyping up for the battle for second position. Then everything just unravelled. It unfurled right in front of our very eyes. Charlie picking up driver of the day. We'll have a full rundown of the results. If it's not already started, Group C and Group D, both of their streams are going to be on the QVR YouTube channel, of course. But from Group B, it is the end of the two races for race 1.1. We saw the Spanish team and the French team really fighting it out in this one. A win going to back to España. So, really well done to them, as Plix did manage to pick up the pieces, and he still finished in a strong second position. Sidemar for the Dutch team taking up third, but what could have been for the Netherlands, as J Magic in fourth, fifth for Ryan, Yaku in sixth. Really strong performances actually coming out from the Maltese team. Group C and D are live now. Confirmation from the QVR YouTube channel. Verstappen in seventh, eighth for Simply Rush, Charlie in ninth, Max Rowe rounding out the top 10 after two 3 seconds up penalties, rounding up to 3 seconds in total. Axel in 6 seconds in total. Axel in 11th, 12th for XL Bray. Then Matthias in 10th. I have no clue what I'm saying. Matthias in 13th after unfortunate contact. Dylan in 14th, 15th Crowsaw. He disconnected early on in this race. I don't think he was fighting at all. And Simi retiring on the circuit, I believe, at Spoon Corner. But yeah, that is the end for me tonight. I was having issues with PlayStation Plus, but I was really glad that I was given this opportunity to commentate here. But thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you go and watch Group C and D, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye everyone.